Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third and final video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's final video, day 10, will take us to the 7th of October. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, because maybe once around a couple of weeks, have a look at CFSB2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. So that will get us into the second half of October. I should get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that first video receipt was our 6th upload, and we've also released the ECM WF 30 days / 6 weeks ahead for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. So check out those two videos if you'd like to do that. Please like, share, subscribe on this, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. I want to say thank you so much to all of you for making last night's live stream so incredibly special. We did our first regular Monday night live stream last night, and it's absolutely great. I had a lot of fun on that live show. I hope you all enjoyed it. I can say thank you so much to the OC for becoming a channel member on that live stream. So thank you so much, the OC. And I want to say thank you to Ryan56 as well for the incredible donation that Ryan gave to me and GavsWeatherVids during my live stream. So thank you so much for the super chat. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ryan, for doing that. Thank you to all of our channel members, all of our super chatters, all of our PayPal donators and patrons too. The way you support GavsWeatherVids is just unbelievable and incredible. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. And my promise to you, as it's been all the way along since the pandemic anyway, is that I'm going to carry on, doing the weather, uploading, live streaming, and hopefully informing and entertaining all of you well into the future. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of the incredible support. Right, so let's start off by having a look at Tropical Atlantic. We've got two interest areas. We've got a red X just here. So that disturbance 1 has got a 70% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, and a 17% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days. That's probably going to become our next tropical storm. But all eyes really at the moment are on Hurricane Ian. This is a major Category 3 hurricane, just 5 miles an hour off Category 4 on the western side of Cuba. So currently getting maximum sustained winds of 125 miles per hour with a minimum surface pressure of 950 millibars, and Ian is moving northwards at 12 miles per hour. Clicking on Ian and going here, we can see this is going to move into Florida in the next 24 hours or so. So current position is over western Cuba. This major hurricane then will push into Florida. Notice still as a major hurricane making landfall there on the west coast of Florida. So still a major hurricane making landfall on the west coast, and then pushing through northern Florida and northwards then into Georgia and South Carolina as a tropical depression, gradually weakening as it loses its energy from the ocean and from the sea and whatnot. I believe they are currently evacuating the western side of Florida. The western coast, I believe, is being evacuated at the moment, and I don't blame them at all, because when we look at the wind gusts, look at this. 12 hours is going to be giving maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. That is like a high-end Category 4 hurricane. It will weaken slightly by the look of it as it gets to Florida around 24-36 hour time, giving maximum sustained winds of 130 to 125 miles per hour. That is still Category 3 to Category 4, however. So very, very powerful storm this, a devastating storm heading for Florida. Will weaken rapidly as it moves inland, however. So, by the time it gets into inland, southeastern part of America, it will weaken a lot, but this is looking pretty serious now. So we'll just go through some of the points. Point number one: life-threatening storm surge, hurricane force winds, flash floods, and possible mudslides are expected in portions of western Cuba today. Devastating wind damage is expected where the core of Ian moves across western Cuba this morning. Two, there is a danger to life-threatening storm. There is a danger of life-threatening storm surge along much of the Florida west coast, where a storm surge warning has been issued, with the highest risk from Fort Myers to the Tampa Bay region. Residents in these areas should listen to advice given by local officials. Hurricane force winds are expected in the hurricane warning area in West Central Florida beginning Wednesday morning. The tropical storm conditions expected later today. Heavy rainfall will spread across western Cuba through Tuesday. This is likely to produce instances of flash flooding and possible mudslides in areas of higher terrain over western Cuba. Heavy rainfall will increase across the Florida Keys and South Florida Tuesday, spreading into central and northern Florida Wednesday and Thursday, and the southern and the southeast of Florida, southeast by Friday and Saturday. That's southeast of America, I think. Likely causing flash urban and small stream flooding. Considerable flooding is expected from central Florida into southern Georgia and coastal South Carolina. A significant prolonged river flooding expected across central and northern Florida. It looks serious. If anybody's watching from Florida or the southeastern part of America or from Cuba, although they're right under it now, of course, in western Cuba. So really, if anybody's watching from Florida or southeastern America, heed the warnings of the officials and of NOAA, and take care of yourself. It's going to be a rough couple of days. Coming back to home, essentially temperature continues its decline. We are now sitting at 15 degrees, 15.0. That's 1.5 degrees above average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 26th of September. That's going to come down further. I think we're aiming for a mid-14s finish, somewhere around 14.5 by month's end. But we'll find out probably early next week where that is going to land up. But certainly, we have unraveled that very, very hot first week. Remember, by the end of the first week of September, we was into the 18s still with the CT, and now we're unraveling that very quickly. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average. For London, we're below average at the moment. We're going to say generally below average into the beginning of October. But further on through the first week of October, we will see the upper air temperatures lifting up, and it's going to become a bit warmer for a while through the middle part of the first week of October. Possibly a decline again as we go into the second week of October. That's a very long way off, though, extended range, but it does look a little bit cooler at that point. Precipitation-wise, rather showery over the next few days, and then we've got some very wet and windy weather coming in on Friday to Saturday. So be a proper dose of really wet weather on Friday into Saturday. And then after that, just a little bit on the showery side, really, as we go through that first week into second week of October. Not completely settling down, you will notice. If we have a look at the extended ensembles, which we haven't looked at for a while, that's how they're looking. This gets us to the end of October. So again, we start off below average at the moment, cooler than average right now. We're going to go a bit warmer through the early part of October, and then we're going to see those upper air temperatures dropping away back towards the middle of October. After that, there's a lot of scatter as we go into the second half of October. No sign of anything overly warm or cold, though, probably hovering quite close to average. Quite unsettled as well as we go into October, especially like the first day of the month, and then again possibly around the middle part of the month. Some very big precipitation spikes then. Could be a drier end to the month, though. Again, that's very, very long way out, however. Temperature anomalies from the 27th of September to 5th of October, about average. Precipitation anomalies from 27th of September to 5th of October, near normal, but a bit drier than average in the far southwest. The latest wind from that from earthnorthschool.net shows that we're still drawing in those northerly winds today, so it remains rather chilly out there, to say the least. If we drag this down, we can see that the air does originate from quite a long way north, with this gradually pushing down into the western side of Europe. Let's drag this around, have a look at Ian. There he is. There's Hurricane Ian right over western Cuba. Let's zoom in and have a look, see what he's doing. So you'll see just how powerful, look at that, how powerful this storm is. When you zoom in, it really does highlight the power of these ferocious hurricanes. Wow, wow, wow. Imagine being under the center of that eye right now over western Cuba. And as we know, that is on its way up to the western side of Florida. It's going to do something like that over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Right, so this is how the latest you can make your run is looking for midnight on Friday. So low pressure deepening in the Atlantic. That's going to bring us a proper spell of wet and windy weather through Friday into Saturday. Heavy rain and maybe gale force winds sweeping the country. Into the weekend, looks rather showery on Saturday, but high pressure will gradually build up from the southwest through Sunday. So by the time you get through to the end of the UK Euro run, which gets us to midnight on Tuesday, relatively dry in the south with the ridge of high pressure, but more unsettled, showery away to the northwest. It will be turning warmer with that, dragging wind up from a southwesterly direction. Icon looks like that. Again, we watch this area of low pressure deepening around Iceland and sending an active weather front across the country through Friday. That will be a band of heavy rain with it, followed by showering conditions into Saturday. And then Sunday to Monday, we'll see high pressure building up from the southwest. That should turn the weather mostly dry. By the time you get through to the end of the Icon run, the south looking mainly dry, quite warm. The north and west looking rather showery. GFS midnight run. Once more, looks wet and windy from Friday into Saturday with a proper bout of heavy rain and then showery through the rest of the weekend. But by the time we get through to the early part of next week, higher pressure is establishing across the country. And GFS, as it has done over the past couple of days, actually making more of this build of pressure through next week. So by Wednesday, for example, this is Wednesday 5th, all areas really under high pressure. That high pressure, you'll notice, is ridging to Scandinavia. Day 10 still keeps the high pressure going. Lots of dry and fine weather with that. Should be relatively warm by day. Could be a little bit chilly by night with some mist and fog patches. And then in the more extended range, we just keep high pressure going to our north, really, and we start to pull in some easterly winds. So it eventually turns more unsettled and probably cooler with those easterly winds by the time we get through to the middle of October. Not dry weather, though, actually, there through the first half of October with that GFS run. GFS 6Z is once again looking wet and windy on Friday, showery and cool into the weekend as well. High pressure gradually building up from the southwest by the early part of next week, turning southern areas drier, but the north and west will be rather unsettled. Moving up towards day 10, high pressure trying to get going over Scandinavia and also from the Azores, but still with these troughs over the country, but probably bring showery conditions. And in the more extreme range, this is the 8th of October, just beyond day 10. You've got a proper Scandi there. Winds in from the east, quite cool and probably quite showery, especially so for the south and for the east. Never really settling down with the GFS 6Z, just keeping this low meandering around just to our south, bringing showery conditions there. Meanwhile, further north, it is mainly dry under the high pressure, but probably a little bit on the cool side with those easterly winds. If you're enjoying the video, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so very much, dear Matt. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everyone. GM, again, showing that low pressure deepening around Iceland on Friday will bring us wet and windy weather at the end of the week. Still staying quite showery into the weekend, and then the early part of next week we'll see high pressure building up from the southwest, gradually reaching northwards towards the Scandi high. So by day 10 we look like that. So high pressure to our southwest, high pressure to our northeast, and in between bring the wind in from off the Atlantic, probably settling down next week. especially so for the south. And then the ECM, once again, looking wet and windy on Friday and staying showery into the weekend. Then high pressure reaches up from the southwest, brings us a drier, warmer early part of next week, especially for the south, but still rather showery up in the north. Into a more extended range, that high pressure builds further. So by day 10, which is Friday the 7th of October, we are well and truly under a 1,030 millibar area of high pressure. We may be seeing the model output inching towards higher pressure here, increasingly dominant through the first week of September. But it isn't a done deal. It's a slow old do get this high pressure going. And whether it does actually come off in the end with any conviction, have to wait and see. But that could be the way the models are trending today towards higher pressure. You would have gathered over the past few days there has been lots of uncertainty swinging one way in Cuba between higher pressure and lower pressure through this first half of October. Right, this is the today's forecast based on the ECM run from TomatoShow.com. Showery over the next few days. Going to bring some wet weather in off the North Sea tomorrow, actually. Quite unusually. Heavy rain will come in from the east tomorrow. We keep it showery then into Thursday, and then we get this really wet and windy weather sweeping in through Friday. Look at that band of rain. It's been a while since we've had such an extensive band of rain covering the whole of the country in that fashion. So Friday turns into a very wet and windy day, and further rain at times through England and Wales as well into Saturday. So we could bring another pulse of rain through across the south on Saturday. Meanwhile, further north it looks pretty showery. Into Sunday and the early part of next week, the rain generally starts to go north. The south begins to dry out, and as we get towards day 10, we're mostly dry then under the area of high pressure. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. This gets us to the 7th of October. 28 members of the ECM ensemble with high pressure to our south, some lower pressure out to the north and to the northwest, and then 23 big ridge of high pressure over country going up to Scandinavia. That's going to be the most settled option out of the two, but it could be the coolest, bringing the wind in from the north and from the northeast. So in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 12th of October. 21 members of the ECM ensemble just having a ridge out to our west. So main drive that, but bringing in wind from the northwest could be a little bit on the cool side. Got 19 with high pressure over and to the northeast, and so that draws the wind up from a southwesterly direction. So that would be, again, main drive, that will be warmer. And then we have 11 with really quite extensive northern blocking. High pressure within the northern latitudes, and that's going to bring the wind in from the east, maybe the northeast. Could be a little bit more unsettled in the south. If there's some low pressure in the south, that could threaten some rain into the south, and that will probably be the coolest option, I would have thought, with winds coming in from a northeasterly direction. So again, a lot of evidence of high pressure through the first half of October. Where the high pressure is sitting, though, is going to be the critical factor in terms of how settled it is, and what temperature does as well with wind direction. Lastly, said between 2 weeks of 500 millibar high dominance take bring down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 27th of September to the 3rd of October coming week, with low pressure to the east, high pressure to the west, and winds coming in from that chilly northerly direction. Week 2 is going to be the 4th to the 10th of October. High pressure ridging up the western side of Europe. Main driver, probably still a little bit on the cool side with winds coming down from the north. Week 3 is going to be the 11th to the 17th of October, with high pressure just to our south and southwest, mainly dry with that. Winds coming in probably from a rather milder west-southwest direction. And then week 4, proper high pressure fest, miss. 18th, 24th of October, high pressure dominates across most of Western Europe, keeping the settled weather going. If that's right, we could be in for a very dry October. Interesting. And we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please go like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe as well. And why not drop a comment and let us know what you found this in all of our videos. And we thank you so very much for doing that. everyone. Right, well, that's it for today's vids, Ben. We'll be back tomorrow with more. We're going to have a 6 AM upload and 10 to 14 day coming up for you tomorrow. But for this video, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. I'm off to the cinema to watch Avatar this afternoon, so I'm quite looking forward to that. I didn't see it on its first rerun, and apparently it's having like a 2-week limited re-release. So yeah, I'm off into Northampton in a mo, and I'm going to have a look at that. You enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.